Hello and welcome to this next tutorial in creating a GUI with a database backend. Now this is the code we built in the last tutorial, and we ended up with a graphic user interface that was functional but very small and a little bit bland looking. So in this tutorial we'll look in a couple of different ways on how to make it look a little bit better. So the first thing I've done is I've changed the size of the GUI. So by using window.geometry I can change the size. So here I've set it to 300 by 350, so height and the width, to make it a little bit bigger to make it easier to use. I've also changed the background color of the window. Now here I'm using a hex code. You could just type in red, blue, as a color and that would work. But by using hex codes you open up all the different possibilities of subtle shades. So you can have a very, very light grey, you can have, any shade you want. Now if you want to use hex codes, if you go onto Google and just type in hex color codes, you will find lots of different charts online which will give you all the different shades and their corresponding hex codes. The next thing I've done is I've created my own custom favicon. So this is the icon that will appear at the top left of the GUI. Lots of different ways of doing this, but if you go online and just Google Favicon Generator, this is the one I've used, favicon.io, you can drag and drop your image file into here, it'll convert it into a favicon and then you can download it. It will download as a zip file, so you'll need to extract it and then you'll need to place it into the same folder that you're running the code from, and don't forget to put the file ending .ico, and then that should all work a treat. Now finally, I've now styled the buttons, the labels and the entry fields. So for the buttons, after the command I've put a comma here, so I've set the foreground to be white, the background to be black, so it gives me white text on a black background. I've changed the relief to flat so the button doesn't stand up this time, and I've set the width of the button. So these are some configurations you can play with just to make it look a little bit more interesting. The label, I've just set the foreground to be blue this time. Again, you can use hex codes in here, you don't have to stay with blue, you can use whatever you want to be a bit more creative. Now finally, the entry fields. Again, these look sort of quite flat and not very three-dimensional, so by using the BD command it looks like when you run it like you've got like a drop bevel inside it, and that can be quite effective for making it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Let's have a look at it in action. So if we run the module, and here you have the result. So we've now got a bigger GUI which makes it a little bit easier to see and use. You can see the effect of flattening the button here. It's all perfectly functional still. You can see here some of the entries I've put in earlier. You can still add to the database, but it's now looking a little bit more interesting, and you can also see here we've got our custom favicon that we generated earlier. So there you have it. Have a play, create some different looking GUIs and see what you can come up with. I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. Goodbye for now.